Hi everybody, Sean Holsinger from holsingersflyshop.com. I had a lot of requests for this fly after posting it on Instagram last week, so I'm going to bring it to you now. Really cool looking pattern. I had this out in the water and I wish I had some video to share of it in the water, but it works just like a crankbait. It reminds me of a rebel crab. When I was young, I did a lot of smallmouth fishing with a spinning rod, and my favorite lure was the rebel crab. And they always have that crankbait action which digs them down into the water, and I caught probably more smallmouth on that than anything else in my life because I fished it all the time. This fly has that same action. When stripped through the water, I'll cast it out, cast down and across with it, strip it through the water, and it'll dig, and the foam will make it to rise up, and then you just shoot it back down again. It's just like the rebel crab works. I weight it, so sometimes, if you're getting into faster water in the riffles, it's going to be more of a suspension than a floating back up because your line's going to be pulling on it and everything else. So it works. Give it a try. It's a lot of fun to tie because you have a realistic looking pattern when you're done, and that's the fun flies for me to tie. The one that I feel that I accomplish realism in. I just like tying them that way better. Have fun with it. Change the colors up a little bit. Change your whatever. Maybe try some black crawls or more of a brown natural color for the claws. Different things you can try to change it around a little bit, but otherwise, it's pretty natural in our colors. Take some marker if you want. You can color the foam with a marker, and that would be the biggest suggestion I would have. But other than that, it's pretty good the way it is. So I hope you like this fly. Like I said, I got a lot of likes and stuff on it on Instagram and a lot of requests to tie it. So here it is for you and the material list to tie it. Alright guys, here's another look at the fly in the vise. You can see really nice crayfish looking pattern. Got the little claws there, everything. So let's get into tying it here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Firehole 811 size 4 hook. Okay, and then I'm going to take a piece of foam. This piece of foam I have cut, this is 5mm foam. And I have it cut about 3/8 of an inch wide and about 2 inches long. And what I'm going to do is, get her in focus here. I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to set it right in the middle of the foam. Okay, and I'm going to find the middle and I'm going to put it right like that. And that's where I'm going to put my hook point through here. So we're just going to pop that through and I'm going to bring it around and we'll put it in the vise. Okay, so this is going to be the back. Up here is going to be the lip of our fly. The next thing I want to do is I want to add some lead to this because I want to make it sink as I strip it through the water. So I'm using 0.25 lead wire. And I'm going to do about 15 to 20 wraps of lead on here. I want it to sink because that foam is thick and the foam will actually pull it back up. It'll suspend it or it'll lift it back up as if you quit stripping it. So it works real nice because you're not going to get stuck on the bottom as easy. It's going to use the lip and then come back down, and it's just a nice action to it. So next thing I'm going to do is put on some 210 Denier brown thread. I'm just going to start it right behind that lead, and then I'm going to wrap over that lead to wrap the lead down in place. And then we'll trim our tag off. And next I'm going to put a set of dumbbell eyes on here, or not dumbbell eyes but bead chain eyes. For the bead chain eyes, I'm going to use an old pair of scissors. I'm going to try to cut it back in the back corner of the blade there. So, because it's metal, you're going to dull them out. So, we're going to tie them down on top. Make a couple wraps around each way. Figure 8 it in there. And then I'm going to take and slide this upside down. So where it's going to end up is about right above where the barb would be. If you see my thread going down there, that's right about where the barb would be. That's where I want these dumbbell or bead chain eyes to end up. Now, put our antennas on it. We're going to use some Sili legs, perfectly barred orange. And I'm just going to fold one in half and stick it out over the end there. And we're going to tie it down. And make sure I keep it up on top, and I want to tie it down in front of and behind those eyes. And then I'm just going to pull it out to the front here some. Try to keep it centered on top so they split down both sides, you see, like that. And then we're going to cut our tag off. This foam is a little bit in the way. It kind of gets to be annoying sometimes, but you learn to work around it after you do a few of them. Now I'm going to take some Krystal flash. This is gold. Just going to lay it right up on top of there again and tie it down about the same length as those legs. This is just going to add a little bit of flash to the front of this fly. You're always looking for something to catch the fish's eye. Then we're going to add the kind of like the mouth part of this fly, which is some Grizzly Marabou dyed orange. We're just going to tie that in right in front of those eyes again. And you don't want it real long. You see how I'm just going out past the bend of the hook. And we're just going to wrap this back. You could trim it off if you want. It works just as well if you tie it down. Clean everything up again. Now the last thing I want to add out here on this end to finish this part off is the pinchers, which I'm using micro pine squirrel in Crawdad orange. These are Zonker strips. And I'm just going to tie one down on each side right above those eyes. And you see how I wrapped it in front of and behind the eye there. So I'll do the same thing on the other side. So start it out behind, make a wrap in front, and then just clean it up. And there you see, that's the head part of the fly. Okay, we finished off the head part of the fly now. Now I'm going to do the body, which is right here, medium Cactus Chenille, medium Cactus Chenille in root beer color. And we're just going to tie it down right behind those eyes. And I'm going to keep my thread right there behind the eyes. And we're just going to wrap this forward. I wrap it tight up to the foam. And then on the way back, I just make about 3 wraps to get it back to the eye. And then we're going to tie it off. Now, we're ready to do the body of the fly. So, this is going to be the underbelly of the fly, back where all the legs are on the crayfish and stuff. Now we're going to do the back side of the crab. And to do that, we're just going to spin our foam so it's standing straight up and down. I'm going to lay it over. I'm going to press right down on top of those eyes. And that's where I'm going to make my wrap at. And this is why I'm using the 210 Denier. Because I'm going to take it and I'm going to pull that down as tight as I can without breaking it. Going to get about 3 or 4 good wraps in there to secure that down. Then I'm just going to come back about 1/8 of an inch, make about 2 wraps, and keep doing that every 1/8 of an inch back the body. Get about 2 good tight wraps there, and I will take and squeeze the body, kind of prepare for the next wrap. I'm just going to go the whole way back to the end here. And I want to make sure that I keep this right square on top. And then I'm going to go right back in front of the eye here. You can see where the eye is. And I'm going to make my last wrap on here. But I want to make sure I get it all straight before I go cinching it down there. And then I'm just going to do, once I get it nice and tight, I'm going to take it, I'm going to whip finish off right here. Get 1 or 2 small whip finishes on there and it'll be good. And then I'm going to trim my thread off. Now to finish the fly up, what we're going to do is I'm going to come up here on the head part of the fly and right about where that marabou ends, okay? That's where I'm going to cut this off to get it the right length. And if you ever look at a crayfish, they have kind of a triangular head at the front. So we're just going to trim that in there. So Just snip a little triangle off in the front, just like that. And then I'm going to take, because this is the 5mm foam, it's really thick, so I'm going to take my scissors on top and I'm going to cut it at an angle and trim it down just like that. Now I'll also take and round these edges off just a little bit, just for my liking. And there you got the front body shape of this, okay? You can see the pinchers coming out right where they should. So, I mean, it's perfect in anatomy, I guess you would say. And now I got to cut the tail so it acts like a little lip on a crankbait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip mine upside down here. And I'm going to take, and I'm going to lay my scissors. I want my scissors to go right across the top side of the tail here. And then I'm just going to trim that off, just like I did up the front, except on the bottom. And then I'm just going to trim each side to knock a little bit of the bulkiness off of here. And that's it. There you go. You got your lip of your fly. Give that a little push down. Whenever the water hits that, it'll dig down and it'll make it dive like a crankbait. And that is all that's to that fly. It's not really as hard as it looks. It takes a little bit of practice, but you get onto it. Okay guys, that looked a little difficult. It's a little intimidating, especially if you're a newer tyer, but it's not a lot of material. It's a lot of simple materials and just stacked on top of each other. It's not really that hard to tie. The hardest thing about it's going to be getting that back, and I would really suggest using some 210 Denier thread. I've tied it with 140. I've tied a bunch of them with 140, and I finally just said, forget it, I'm going to 210. And boy, it made a difference tying it with 210. So you can really crank down on that foam, especially using that big 5mm foam. It helps a lot. So give it a try, guys. If you're a smallmouth fisherman, if you have smallmouth, it's the perfect size. The size 4 hook might sound big, but in all honesty, this is a really small crab compared to, you know, what's out there. So it's going to be the size of fly that's going to be really productive and catch a wide range of fish. From your panfish are going to be hitting it, and even your big smallmouth are going to be hitting it, no problem. So give it a try. It's a lot of fun to tie. And like I said earlier, there's realism to this fly, and that's what makes it fun for me to tie. I like to tie things that look real. So have fun tying it. If you need any of the materials, as always, I started putting a material list down in the description here. And, you know, I have a link to everything on our website where you can find the materials to buy it. And please take the time to like and subscribe to our Facebook channel. And also, we're selling these flies in the shop. So if you don't want to mess around and tie them, but you want to have some on hand, go onto our website. And I'll put that link down in the material list too, to the fly for sale on the website. So you can get them already tied if you want them. I tie them up to supply the shop. So thanks for watching, everybody. Until next week when I bring you another video, I'm Holsinger.